we believe in sustainability, which is why I don't give anything away for free. See, if I give you something for free, I'm basically telling you that you have nothing to offer me. You have nothing of value that I need or want or can use. But I believe something different. See, we believe that the community has all the gifts, talents, and resources to solve all of its own problems by themselves. My name's Thomas Hargis, and I'm with the Jubilee Project. It was a bold initiative through the West Ohio United Methodist Church to say, what if we started with place and space? What if we started with soil instead of people? What if we did revitalization through community? And so we started with housing. See, there's abandoned houses all over the Rust Belt. And we started taking these houses and we hired people in the community that the community had deemed unhireable, people getting out of drug addiction or people getting out of incarceration. And we taught electrical, plumbing, hardwood flooring skills. Now, we're not talking about cheap stuff here, because if you want to teach somebody a $27 an hour skill, you give them $27 an hour materials that they can learn on. As we started listening to the folks that are in our community, we started realizing that transportation was a problem. So what we started doing was 0% interest loans to give them transportation, which made them better employees because they could actually get to work instead of using public transportation. We give them 0% interest loans to buy their own tools. So now that they have transportation, their own tools, their own skills, now that they're working on the weekend, making $40 to $50 an hour, doing side jobs, and some of them can start their own businesses if they want, but some people just like a stable paycheck. These houses are in communities where we listen to our partners, which is why one of our partners is Catholic Charities, and they have Syrian refugees, and some of those Syrian refugees had amazing drywalling skills. The drywall that you see up there was done with no power tools, all by hand. Those folks had gifts and talents, but they couldn't speak English, and they didn't know the imperial system. So we helped them speak English, and they now teach our drywalling crews. As we started getting more out into the community, we started realizing that there's a whole lot of abandoned lots in the community. Food access was a problem. So as we started talking to more and more folks, they said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we actually had food that we know how to cook instead of having other folks bring stuff in that we don't know what to do with? So we grow green tomatoes, collards, mustards, food that folks already know how to cook. They just don't have the ability to access. And then we piggyback that off of another community partner who said, hey, look, for every $1 of SNAP benefits, we're going to match that to give them twice the benefit that they have on their plate at home. We started a farm because we looked into the community and we found a professor that knew how to plant an orchard. And we took volunteers that came out to the job sites, and instead of using them to do things for us, because we don't need anybody to do things for us, they partnered alongside of us. And so we developed a supervisory program because the only way to get to be a supervisor is to have what? Supervisory experience. So these individuals, these Jubilee employees, take teams, and these folks come underneath them and train them to be supervisors. So we now have a farm manager who was a retiree in the community that didn't know how to farm. He's planting our orchard next week, leading the community in that charge. We can put thousands of dollars of materials on the job sites, and they never disappear because the community protects them. And one of our employees came to me not too long ago, and he said, Thomas, I don't want to quit, but I've been offered a $27 an hour job. And I said, if you don't take it, I'm going to fire you. He said, this is my community, this is my family, this is how I stay sober. And I said, you're not leaving this community or this family, which is why our retention rates for substance abuse relapse are exceptionally low, because we only hire high-risk populations that need each other to survive. Which is why we started a housing initiative, because they were living in bunked housing, paying $75 a week in a warehousing model. We found houses that we didn't know what to do with. And so we created a new housing model that they all pay one flat fee every week. The moment you're ready to move on, you can move on, but you can stay there for 2 years. If that's what you need to be successful, we're going to find what you need to be successful. And we're going to put you in a place where you get to call the shots. We also have no dual relationships. If you live in our housing, you don't work for us, because we want you to find networks in the community so that there is a bigger safety net than just what we do. We have a great partner with the city of Cincinnati, and they came to us and they said, look, we've got this corridor here, and we shut down this Quickie Mart that was a non-regulated pharmaceutical industry doorway, right? So after they shut it down, we walked the community, and we asked them, like, what do you guys want? They said, well, we don't have access to fruits and vegetables, and we don't have access to clothing. So we grabbed some other partners together, and we didn't know how to run a thrift store, but that never stopped us before. So we opened up a boutique-style thrift store, and we partnered with another organization that said, hey, we have females that have a hard time getting jobs, so now we're teaching retail managerial skills out of that thrift store, inventory control systems, customer service. It's not a warehouse. It's all about teaching skills that can port into a wider industry. Joe's helped lead that effort, and as we started talking to the community, Joe put this listening tab out. So every customer that comes in, we engage them. And they said, well, we wish we had a restaurant in our community. So Chet, who lives right around the corner to your right, he owns a food truck. The thrift store was only open up 3 days a week, but we wanted to create a hub, a real marketplace. So now Chet occupies 2 of those parking spaces. And Chet moved one of his trucks, was so successful, he's got a second truck, and he's hired 3 more people in the community to work that space. That provides money into the soil, into the ground as possible. We want to keep money localized. Through all those collaborations, crime in that corridor has dropped by 86% in less than 1 year. The violent crime score went from 122 to 22, and these are not my stats, these are the city of Cincinnati stats. They actually are up for an international award for a documentary that they put on the effort with cities such as London and Berlin. We're talking about community revitalization, building wealth through value exchange. I wish I could say we're done, but we're flying to Houston. We're going to Oklahoma. And we've proven the model in a suburban context. We've proven our model in a hyper-urban context. But we have a really poor problem in this country when it comes to coming up with a plan for rural communities. So we have a $3.5 million expansion that we're going into central Kentucky, an hour and a half away from your local Home Depot, an hour away from Lowe's, and we're going to do land reclamation. We're going to teach people bulldozer skills, excavation skills, jobs that pay $50 an hour. There's an abandoned hospital there. We want to take it over and put a drug and alcohol treatment center in there because there's no place to go in 5 counties for adequate drug and alcohol treatment. There's abandoned houses in the downtown corridor that we can take and do the same thing that we've done inside of the city of Cincinnati. We're inviting you to be on the journey with us. Be a part of spreading the good news of Jubilee, that everybody has all the gifts and talents and the resources that they need in their local community. Thank you.